Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you this little St. Patrick's Day gnome. He's got an oversized coat, a little body, a big hat. I got his little pockets lined with money. If you want to know how to make him, stick around. I'll show you how. Thanks for watching. I love you guys. Okay, go ahead and cut all your pattern pieces out. I've given you this in a PDF and an SVG file, and we're going to attach the smallest circle into the bigger circle. Just center it on there just to give it some support. Then we're going to take the top and we're just going to overhang it 1/4 of an inch. And just be light on your glue. Start at one top part and then go down the rest of it as each piece starts to dry. That way it'll keep you from getting glue all over everything. You don't want it oozing out on the sides. And the bottom of this hat is smaller than the top part of the hat. And it's in an oval shape. So we're going to, when we attach our base to it, just kind of make sure that you get it in the oval shape. And go ahead and glue that down. Now the easiest way to do this is just to glue around the outside edge of that smaller circle, and then we're just going to put our hat back on top. Now we're going to go ahead and trim out the top part of this hat a little bit, so don't worry so much about glue coming through. Okay, for around the top, I'm just going to take a 1/4 inch piece of craft foam, and I'm just going to glue it all the way around. Now don't put a lot of glue on this, just put a little bit of glue. You don't want it oozing out. I had a little bit more glue coming out than I wanted to. I actually had to go back in and put another strip over the top of it to cover that up. Now we're going to go ahead and attach the bottom part. Just come over it, come down about 1/4 of an inch, and then we're going to put a strip on the bottom that's 1/4 inch thick too. And that's what's going to hold that hat on. That's what's going to hold the brim onto that hat. And just put a light bead of glue on the very front part, and then just go ahead and pull it all the way around and trim it out. Just find your center point, make sure you're at the center of the hat, and then go ahead and glue that down. And this will hold that brim on. You don't have to glue the brim on. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and put the black trim on it, and it's going to be with the curved side up. Just find your center point. Make sure you're at the front part of the hat, and we're just going to glue that on. Now, I stretched my craft foam a little bit as I went around because it wasn't going all the way to the back. I guess I glued a little bit tighter on my hat than I did before. But this stuff just will stretch. All you got to do is just pull on it a little bit, and it will stretch. Okay, next I'm just going to take a piece of craft foam, and I'm just going to cut it about 1.5 inches by about 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to put that on the front of my hat like the little buckle. And then I'm going to take some black craft foam, and I'm just going to cut a little sliver so it does go across the front part of that buckle to make it a complete buckle. Just going to glue it right onto the front part. Next, I'm just taking some decorative ribbon, and I'm just going to run it up the side of the hat on both sides. And then I'm going to cut it off just below where that trim was. And then go ahead and glue it on down. And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Just kind of make sure that your spacing is even. But you do want to go just below where that trim is. And then go ahead and glue that on as well. Okay, next we're going to start the body, and I've given you the pattern in the description below. You're just going to go ahead and cut this piece off on the fold, and you're just going to do this one out of just regular fabric, and then we're going to come back in and make his jacket the same but out of a different fabric. So hang on to your pattern when you finish cutting this part out. Okay, then we're just going to glue up one side of the fabric, fold the other side over to the top of it, and then go ahead and let that dry good. Then we're going to turn it right side out, and then we are going to cut just the very tip of this off. And go ahead and pull it over your cone, pull it all the way down, and then we're going to start adding little slits at the bottom of it because we are going to glue this to the base. So go ahead and take your scissors and just make 1/4 inch slits all the way around, and then we're going to glue that down. Okay, for the jacket, you're going to take that same pattern piece and you're going to cut it off right where that first arrow is, and then go ahead and put it on the fold and go ahead and cut that out. And this is going to be for the jacket. And then save your pattern piece because we're going to do it again here in a second for the bottom part of his body. So go ahead and take your pattern again, lay it on top of here. Go ahead and cut the round part off the bottom. And then we're going to come up 1.25 inches and we're going to curve the same curve that we just did there around there. And this is going to be for like his pants. Okay, and for his pants, we're just going to attach them right down at the bottom edge. So just make sure that it does go all the way down to the edge and you don't see any of the other fabric out the bottom part of it. And then just figure out exactly where you want it and then go ahead and glue that down. And then we're going to come back in with a little 3-inch circle and we are just going to put it on the bottom just to kind of fill it all in. Next, I'm just going to take a 1/2 inch piece of craft foam and I'm just going to put it around the waist for a belt. And I don't have an exact pattern for this, but just kind of measure around there and you can cut it to the length that you need it to be. And then I'm going to come back in with that same glitter craft foam and I'm going to add a little buckle to the front part of his pants or to the front part of his belt. And that's probably just a 1/2 by 1/2. And then I'm going to cut a little sliver of the black craft foam like I did on the hat and I'm going to put it across the front part of that buckle. So we're going to do the jacket and we're going to come in 1 1/4 inches on the bottom and 3/4 of an inch on the top part of this jacket. And then that we're just going to wrap it around there, but we're going to glue this here in a minute. You just want to make sure that you have enough room where it's closed up in the front a little bit. And then we're going to come down 2 1/4 inches from the top to actually put our jacket. So go ahead and wrap it around there, come down 2 1/4 inches and we're going to spot glue up at the top on both sides. And then we're going to come down the side just a little bit, but not all the way, because we need to have his jacket open a little bit at the bottom so that when he does sit on the ground, his jacket is not glued up to the top part there. So we're just going to come down the sides just a little bit and glue some in right before you get to his pants. We're going to cut the beard. We're going to go 2 inches wide by 2 1/4 inches long. And then cutting behind the faux fur only, we're just going to cut in a U shape all the way down to that bottom mark, back up to the top mark. And kind of make this one a little bit more narrow than we normally do. Just so not so thick in the bottom. And then clean any excess off. Okay, then to attach the beard, we're just going to add some glue to the back of it and we're just going to come and line it up with the top part of that jacket. Okay, next we're just going to take 2 pipe cleaners. We're going to fold them in half and then we're going to build the sleeves. Now the sleeves are going to be 2 inches by 6 inches. We're not going to have any hands because his hands are going to be in his pockets. So just go ahead and put your glue down one side, add your pipe cleaner, and then just roll it up pretty tightly. And then go ahead and glue that down. Now you don't need to do any kind of a seam on this one because it's felt and there's not going to be any fraying on this fabric. And do exactly the same thing for the second arm. Just roll it up pretty tight because we want him to have kind of slender arms because he is going to be a little guy. Okay, next I'm just going to hold his arms up to his body. I'm going to put a pocket on him because he's going to have his hands in his pocket. So just figure out where you want that pocket to be. I think I'm about a 1/2 inch up from the bottom of that jacket. And go ahead and glue that down on 3 sides only. Just make sure that you spend a little bit of time making sure that it's straight along the bottom. Okay, and then do the opposite side. Just make sure that it's lined up with the one on the other side. Because you want to make sure that they're even. Okay, then I'm going to take some of that same trim that I put on the hat, and I'm just going to put it across the top part of these pockets. Just going to glue it right along the top edge there. Just make sure you don't glue your pocket shut. Okay, next I'm just going to go ahead and start attaching my arms. And I'm going to put some little gold coins in his pocket as well. Just go ahead and get his arm lined up in there. And then we're going to tie it off at the top here in a minute. If you need to kind of seal those up a little bit so they don't protrude out as much, just go ahead and seal those up. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add these little coins. And I got these at the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to put one in each one of his pockets. And then a little bit later, I'm going to put another one in his pocket as well. And then just go ahead and pull it up at the top. And we're just going to tie this off real tight with a string. Next, I'm going to make his shoes. I'm just going to take like a 1-inch ball. I'm going to roll it into a tube. And I'm going to split it in half. And this is oven baked clay. It's Sculpey 3. I'm just going to roll it in a ball, mash it down, and then I'm going to push it in the front so that I can wrap it around the curve of the cone, like that. Do the same thing with the other one, and then we're going to turn his toes up a little bit. Kind of make it look more like he has like a little boot on. Just make sure that they go up against the body, and then we're just going to go ahead and just kind of turn the toe up a little bit. Just pinch it and bend it up a little bit. And then do the same thing with the second one. And then I'm going to take some wire. I'm going to cut it off. So I need enough wire to go inside of the cone and into the shoe. I'm just going to curl the end of it because I want to make sure that my clay stays adhered to this. And then I'm just going to push it into my shoe and then kind of push it around it. Just kind of push it on in there and then just kind of push it around it a little bit. And then that should stay in place when you bake it. Just make sure your toes are still up on the front. And then bake it at 275 degrees for 15 minutes. Okay, now that they're baked, we're just going to take our X-Acto knife and poke a hole into it. Go ahead and put both feet in there just to make sure they fit good. Kind of space them out a little bit. And then we're going to take them back out and we're going to glue them in. So you're going to put a little bit of glue in the hole and you're going to put a little bit of glue on the shoe itself. And then just go ahead and put it back in on both of them. Okay, next go ahead and put his hat on, and we're just going to separate his beard right up at the top edge of that hat because we're going to put his nose right in the middle there. So go ahead and separate it. Then we're going to take the hat off. Just make sure it's exactly where we need it to be. Kind of still straighten out the hair, and then we are just going to glue that nose right to the center of where those two pieces meet. Just make sure that when you put your hat back on, it is in the right place, and then go ahead and glue on your nose. And then we're going to put glue on the back part of the hat, and we're just going to attach it to his body. All right, there you have it. If you like this kind of videos, hit like. If you want to see future videos, hit subscribe. If you want to be notified when I have another video, hit the bell. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.